everybody, welcome. I don't know if you noticed, we moved. We moved to a different space, so where we were before was in somebody's office. So he wants his office back, so we came to another space. But welcome, thank you guys for joining us. Are we all good? Everybody can hear? Everything's good? Just want to make sure. It's a new space, we're getting used to it, so I want to make sure everything's going. And we're all good. Are you okay, Megan?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry. Sure. So, hi guys, welcome. My name's Nikki. I'm the community education coordinator here at Talk today. And I have a team of helping me today. I got some helpers here in the room with me, and then I have a team of smart people that are, or I call them the Googlers. They're helping me out too, because you guys ask some really good questions. Sometimes you stump me. So it's nice to have that backup. Before we get started, just a couple ground rules to go over the boring stuff. So when you guys came in, you're automatically muted, and you won't be able to see each other. But that doesn't mean we don't want you to communicate with us. So there's two ways you can do it. So when I ask you guys a question, and I will be asking lots of questions, put those answers in the chat box for me, okay? And I got someone here who's reading your answers, so I know you're getting them and you're responding. And then, if you have questions for us, put those in the Q&A box, and we'll either answer them on air, or, like I said, I had a team of people helping me out, or they'll answer them too. So, there, that's out of the way. That makes sense? All right, let's move on to our program today. It's called What's on the Menu? So, let me ask you guys a question. Where does the menu start? When I say menu, I mean, I'm talking everything. Have you guys ever heard the fancy word called a food web, food chain, anything like that? So where does that menu start? Anybody know? And then I have another really, really weird question. Okay? Probably nobody's ever asked you this, but in that chat box, let me know, yes or no, have you eaten any sunshine today? I told you it was a weird question. All right, somebody ever asked you that? So have you eaten any sunshine today? Yes or no? Anybody? Let's see, Cynthia. Let me know.
Henry says the sun.
You ate the sun? Yeah.
Carrie says no.
No, you didn't eat any sun today? No? No eating sunshine? Really?
Carrie hasn't.
No, I bet you did.
Oh, Wendy wants to know if sun chips count.
Yes, Wendy, they do. Absolutely.
And Charles says no, I've been doing homework all day.
Oh, yes, back to school.
Oh, but then Nicole says yes indirectly. I like that
Perfect.
answer.
That is the perfect answer, because everybody in this room, back there with you guys in the virtual world, you eat sunshine. And if you ate anything, it started with the sun, right? So somebody, let's tell me, what do you had to eat today? Somebody just put that in the chat. What did you eat today?
Carrie had OJ.
OJ, right? Where does OJ come from? Where do we get oranges from? Oranges, right? Where do oranges grow? It's always that weird, awkward delay. Where do oranges grow? Trees, absolutely. Yeah. Where do trees get their energy? How do they make food?
Now, Florida is where they mainly grow.
Right, Florida, absolutely.
The sun.
And they call this Florida sometimes, right? That's perfect. So right, the sun, absolutely. It all starts with the sun, right? So yeah, you did eat sunshine today. Everybody did. Because it all starts with the sun. And that's where everything starts and gets its energy. So that's what a food web is. And it's all about the exchange of energy. So again, you're going to pretend this is my son, right? Sure. Right, so here's my son. We'll pretend it's the sun. It's giving energy to the plants, right? So they can grow and flower and make fruits and seeds. And then along comes this guy, right? And he's getting his energy from the plants, which got his energy from the sun, right? Going down the line, we'll put him in the flowers. And then maybe somebody that wants to eat the bee, he's eating the bee. It's actually perfect. Nice little. And then, of course, somebody wants to eat the frog. Right? I like this. It's pretty cool. So we got the snakes eating the frog. Okay, then we got owls eating the snake. Okay, and then the owls, okay, they're getting their energy too when they pass away. The vultures, right? They're eating the dead things and cleaning it up. Whew. All right, so we have a food chain right here. So it's a passive energy. So the sun, the flowers, and on up the food chain, right? But it all starts with that healthy sun. So there's our food chain. But it's never that simple, right? It's never just one animal to this, to this, to this. There's usually many animals, right, that might want to eat the frog. So it's very connected. So it's formed like a web.
They're loving your cute food web, Nikki.
You know, anytime you get to use stuffed animals, that's very good. So it's kind of like a web. You guys see that? It's hard to see with, I might need to put something behind it. Let's put the owl behind it. Does that show it? Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
that's better. So it's like a web. It's all interconnected, right? So the frog, so lots of animals eat that frog, and it's connected to that, and lots of animals eat plants. So it's very complicated, and everything's kind of connected, right? Just like a web, like a spider web. And sometimes if you break a strand, it can impact all the other animals in that web too, right? So just a nice visual to see that.
Charles thinks it looks like the glass is cracked.
It kind of does. This is really awesome. So somebody went to a real web, took a real spider web, sprayed like spray adhesive on it, and then just put it on a piece of acrylic.
Yeah.
And so this is actually a real spider web on this acrylic, and you can feel it, and it's really cool. So it's really neat. So something you could do at home. Just kind of cool. So food webs, very important. Food webs, food chains, and there's lots of different roles and jobs that are in that food web, that food chain. And we're going to kind of go over some of those roles. And we'll start off with probably not the best job, but it is very important. And it's eating the food. So these webs, so these food webs and all the animals, they're all trying to find food, right? They're also trying to not be food. So, but some animals' jobs, it is to be food. And most of those animals are what we call plant eaters, right? Does anybody know the scientific name, or not scientific, the fancy science word for an animal that just eats plants, that is a plant eater? Let's see.
Charles is thinking herbivores.
Herbivores. You are right, Charles. Nice job. And so what I have here, my friend here, is definitely an herbivore. And I can tell that because I look at its teeth. You guys have probably all seen why that is. Yeah? Yeah. You can see those teeth right there. So they're kind of flat, but they're also kind of rough for grinding. And they don't have any teeth up front a lot of times. Most herbivores, they might have some on the top but not on the bottom, or they're very smaller. But they use these back teeth for grinding. So that tells me this is an herbivore. And his job is to be food. So this Thompson gazelle's job is to be food. Make sure it's a Thompson gazelle. Excuse me, to be food for other animals. Again, not the best job in the world, but it's very important because other animals need to eat, right? They need to get their energy. And so they supply a lot of energy to other animals. And so that is the herbivore. And let me ask you this. So he is a food item. Do you think he wants to be eaten? What do you guys think? Is that his goal in life? He wakes up every day, oh, I hope I get eaten today.
Aaron, Nicole, and Charles and Henry say no.
You're right. Absolutely. They don't want to be eaten. So luckily, they have some pretty amazing adaptations to avoid being eaten. Can you guys think of some? Look at the skull. Look at the picture. So it's going to get a little noisy for a second, guys, because we have a friend coming in, a critter friend coming in. So they're kind of bringing them in now. But so what adaptations do you see on this critter?
So Aaron is thinking, is it fast?
Oh, yep. Look at that picture.
Has hooves?
Very fast hooves for running quickly, especially running on their toes. You guys are welcome to set them up there. That'd be easy. That's why I made room if we need to have things around. So sorry, guys. So yeah, so they're very fast. Anything else you see that might help them survive and not be eaten?
Horns?
There you go, horns, right, to defend themselves. Yep, being very fast. Let's see. Now, if you notice, let's look at the skull again. Where are the eyes facing? So these are the eyes right here. Are they facing forward? Or are they facing to the side?
Sideways.
Sideways, right. I like the saying, eyes on the side, hide. Eyes in the front, hunt. The way I was thinking about it. So eyes on the side, hide. So let's do a little demonstration. You guys can all do this at home. All right, see how wide your vision is. So everybody put your fingers out like this. All right. Keep your eyes forward. Do not move your eyes. Keep them looking straight. And then move your fingers all the way until you can no longer see them and then stop. As far as I can see. Now, if I move my eyes, I can see my fingers better, right? But that's called our peripheral vision. So that's how far, how wide we can see. And ours is usually about 180 degrees. So we can see about that far away without having to turn our head. These guys with their eyes on the side can see 360 degrees. There might be a few kind of blind spots in the front and the back, but they can see all around them. So they're always looking. So these guys are called prey items. So being food means you're a prey item. So you're a food item or a prey item. And so yeah, so they're always looking around, checking things out.
Henry says that is cool.
Yep. So they can see a lot. So how being able to see all the way around them. And let's look at this picture right here. What are those things sticking out right there? And you see them in a lot of animals, especially deer.
Taylor says ears?
Right, big ears. And do they stay in one spot? And think about your dogs, your cats too. Anything that has big ears, deer, do they stay in one spot or do they kind of move around?
They move.
Right, they move, right. So they can move all the way around. So not only can they see all around them, they can hear all around them too. So they can always sense what's going on around them. What else? You might notice. Oh, different colors. Here we go. It was hot in here before. Super hot. What colors are on my herbivores I have right here? What do you notice? Can we see them? I'm only so tall.
Brown, camouflage.
There you go. Excellent camouflage. Being able to hide is a pretty good way of not being eaten, protecting yourself.
Yeah,
my eyes.
They're saying they're all brown.
Right. And just because what about this guy? This herbivore right here is not brown. So but he's got a different kind of camouflage. Does anybody know what his camouflage is?
Is he blended with the grasses? Carrot from carrot? He's white and black.
Sometimes, right? Because some of the tall, like having stripes helps you to blend in, but they still kind of stand out because they're so bright, white and black. But do zebra live alone or they live in groups or herds? Groups, right?
Groups
Right.
all around.
Right. Let's look at this picture. So if you're a lion and you're going into this mass of zebras, can you tell one from the other?
Well, Wendy's telling us that a group of zebras is called a zazzle.
Oh, and yeah, Zazzle, yep. Zazzle zebras. Say that 20 times fast.
But they're saying you can't really tell one. The lines are confusing.
Exactly. Very confusing. Same with fish do it too. That bait ball, you ever heard? And a few birds do it too. These groups, and it's really cool. They all move as one. And it's really cool to watch. And if you guys ever watched, was it Finding Nemo? You guys them?
Yeah.
You can see all the fish go like that. So it's a great way of defending yourself. Big groups, it confuses anything that wants to eat them. So another good way of protecting themselves. I guess we'll get to our star.
Yeah.
It's always a glove time, the awkward moment when I have to go get gloves on.
And Charles says it depends on the eyesight, I guess, of the predator.
Yeah,
How
that too.
easily you can determine one single herbivore from a bird or a zazzle or a seal. All of those are groups of zebra.
Right. Now this herbivore, technically an herbivore, but he's got another fancier science word. Oops, sorry, buddy. You guys met these before? How are they looking, Megan? Am I too close, too far away?
Down a little bit.
Down? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're getting used to the how we have things set up. I'm thrown off. I used to have a lens here. Now I'm all thrown off. So these are our Madagascar hissing cockroaches.
Ooh, so cool.
And they are herbivores, right? So they eat plants, but they have a fancy science word, or what we call detritivores, which means they eat what? Do we know what detritus is? It's a big fancy word. Something I don't want to eat. You know?
Decaying vegetation or dead plants?
Beautiful, nice, absolutely. So dead and decaying plants, or detritus. Is all that stuff you see under in the forest floor, all that stuff. And that's their job to clean that up. And I like to say they're recycling the world one poop at a time. So they're eating those dead plants, going through their bellies, and they're pooping out nutrients back into the soil so more plants can grow.
So Zahara wants to know, what are those roaches?
They are. So I'm sorry, I always forget. Oh, buddy. I'm sorry about that.
A skateboardist.
He's stuck, thankfully. So these are Madagascar hissing cockroaches. Let me put her down. Apparently I can only handle one at a time. So these are Madagascar hissing cockroaches. I know. My cat like reflexes, right? And so they're called hissing cockroaches. So, right, so they eat dead and decaying plants. Do you think a lot of animals would want to eat them? My question for you. What do you guys think? You think they're food for lots of animals in Madagascar, where they're from?
Well, they have no shell, according to Karen.
Kind of, sort of. This,
So Henry says yes. They
Yeah.
probably are eating a lot.
yes, they are. They're food for lots of, even people in Madagascar eat Madagascar hissing cockroaches. Very feisty. He's very moving. I like moving ones. I like it when they sit still. So yeah, so they are food for a lot of animals. So what do they have to not be eaten? What do you think? What do they do to avoid being eaten? What do you guys think? Shaking hands again.
Taylor says they hiss.
There you go.
Karen says
Right.
they sing.
Absolutely. So imagine you're going to bite a cheeseburger, and you go take a bite, and all of a sudden it starts hissing at you. Are you going to eat that cheeseburger? No, I wouldn't. Right? So that's kind of how they defend themselves. So if something's going to attack them, they make a hissing noise, and they actually do that through those little kind of dots you see on their back, their abdomen there, and they force air out through those tubes there and make a quick hissing noise. And it's just enough to kind of startle that animal and give them a couple seconds just to get away and hide. And do you think they're pretty good at blending in? So they're living on the forest floor eating dead and decaying plants. Do you think they'd hide pretty well there?
Oh, yes.
Yes, very much. Good camouflage. So this one is the boy. And you'll notice he's got these kind of little bumps right there on the top of his head. And like horns. And then the females, not. So hers are a little smaller. There you go. So we're going to a friend Ginger. It's today's name. We have hundreds of these, so they're not all named. All right. So, that's a good herbivore. All right. Let's move on to our next rule. So, herbivores' role to be food. You know, not the best role, not the best job in the world. Our next group of animals, their job is to make sure those herbivores don't get overcrowded. There's not too many of them. They're there to keep those animals in check. And they eat those herbivores. So what's a fancy science word for an animal that eats other animals?
We already have that. Charles says carnivore.
Nice job, Charles. Carnivores, absolutely. And you can tell, is that different from that herbivore? Those teeth? Oop. That's a great job. But it's fixable. Right. So they have much different teeth. Although,
Yeah, that's good.
so eat the camera. Right. So they have much different teeth than that herbivore does. So theirs are more sharper, especially in the front, pointier, for killing and then ripping meat apart, right? And where were the eyes on the herbivore? Bring them back out. Were they to the side or to the front?
To the side.
Right. What about this guy? Where is it? What direction are his eyes facing?
The front.
Front,
Says
right.
Nicole.
So they hunt, right? Eyes up front, hunt. Because we're hino hunters. So our eyes in the front, and that lets us see how far away things are. Gives us that depth perception. So when they're chasing down another animal, they need to know how far away something is. Whereas that gazelle doesn't need to chase down a blade of grass, does it? So he doesn't need that. He's more concerned about what's going on around him. Whereas they need to know how far away their food is. So they need that binocular vision, that front-facing vision. It lets us kind of catch balls if we're playing softball or we're playing baseball. You're welcome, Steve. Any of those sports. So yeah, so absolutely. So it lets them be able to catch things and see how far away stuff is. So that's how they kind of help find food. So their role is to make sure those populations are kept in check, because if the deer, all of a sudden the populations start growing really big, they eat all the grass, and then deer can't eat. There's not enough food for them. And so a lot of them would starve. So this way, this one keeps those populations in check. And they're usually looking for the weak, the sick, and things like that, and they're kind of cleaning up that population. And that way keeps them healthier, that population healthier, actually. So important role for that food web. And they have some pretty amazing adaptations for being able to catch their food and maybe avoid being detected by their food, right? And you think of, so this is, let me know what animal this is. Probably have met this before. I bring them out a lot because they're awesome to talk about.
We have a guess of a bear, a lion.
You're on the right track with the bear. I'll give you a hint. This toupee.
Polar bear says Anna.
There you go, right. So, right, this is the polar bear. And he's got some pretty awesome adaptations, so good eyesight, being able to see how far away something is. And then his other sense, his best sense, can anybody guess?
Nose.
There you go.
Sense of smell.
Right, excellent sense of smell. They can smell their prey, their favorite food, which are seals, from almost 20 miles away. The amazing sense of smell. And so they can be able to detect that. You have a question? All right, I have to ask it.
So I do have a friend, Miss Madeline, wants to know if polar bears have clear fur and black skin, then how are they not black?
Well, can you see the black skin? Good, but if you move it out of the way, now you can't, right?
Barely.
Barely see it because fur is so thick, right? So it kind of hides that black skin. So yeah, but nice that you knew they had clear hair and black skin. That's pretty awesome. Pretty cool. So, but let's go with the color. So how do they avoid the animals that seal being able to find them when they sneak up on them? What do they use? How do they hide? Camouflage, right?
Camouflage is
Because
it.
it's their environment is white, right? So camouflage is a great way to be able to detect. What about, but that's in the Arctic. What if you live in the forest or the trees? Can you see me now? I live in the forest or live in the grasses. What about these furs? Do you think that would help them blend in?
Yes.
Yeah, amazing camouflage. So having lots of spots and stripes and just that modeling color, different colors, because you look in the Arctic, it's all white, it's one color. But if you're in the forests or on a grassland, there's lots of different colors. And there's lots of shade, there's light spots, dark spots. And so having all these different colors and spots helps you to blend in. Ooh, it's warm in here. I'm gonna lose my fur coat. Oh. All right, Wendy, this one's for you. Another cool sense that some animals have.
Wendy says yes.
So this guy, he's got an extra sense. So does anybody know what this is? What animal? What bat this is, I should say. Is it the kind of bat?
Wendy
says it's cuteness.
Of course it is. They are. I actually think they're adorable looking. I agree with Wendy.
Vampire bat.
There you go.
Everyone's guessing.
You're right. Absolutely. That is a vampire bat. And oh, they look big and scary, don't they? Really? No. This is how big they are. They're tiny. Now look, this is their skull.
Yeah.
Look good?
Down a little bit.
I got too many things to
I know,
the camera. Throw it up.
Yeah, you need an extra hand.
There we go. How's that?
That's better.
There
Yay.
you go. Okay. So yeah, look at, compared to my hands, I have big hands, but I don't think I'm big. So yeah, so tiny little animals, not scary, but because they drink what? What do they eat?
Charles says,
carnivore.
tablespoon of blood every day.
Nice, Charles. You're awesome. Right. And how do they know where that blood is? They come up to a cow, a chicken, sheep, goat, those are their favorites. How do they know where that blood is? Where to go to? You know? Okay, no. They're done here. They actually can sense
Smell is the question.
so they can sense heat. So they have an extra sense, so they can actually sense. So in their nose, so in here, they can actually, they have these little organs in here that lets them to be able to sense heat, because your blood vessels are closest to the skin, usually on your wrists, your ankles, and that. So wherever the blood vessels are closest to the skin, it's usually pretty warm. And so that's what they're sensing. And so they can sense where that heat is, and they can go right up and make a little cut and drink that tablespoon of blood. So yes,
That is so awesome.
pretty cool adaptation to be able to find your food. But our next friend, he's got the best. All right, you ready, Miss April? All right, so give us a minute. April's going to bring out our next friend. To me, I think these guys are, I want to say, what we call them an apex predator. So predator is something that hunts, right? Prey is something that's get eaten. So this next predator, very few other animals would hunt him. So he's one of our animals, we call him an apex predator. So he's kind of way up there on the top of that food chain, food web. You might have heard him earlier. He makes lots of little cute little people.
Yeah, Wendy said she heard him.
Yeah.
Aaron is guessing an owl.
All right. It's a good guess. Very close. They're very similar. Just one lives at night, one lives during the day, or active at night, active during the daytime. Come on up. Don't be shy, April. Hi, Gravy. I'll move back. Well, let me put my gloves. Sorry, let me put my mask on. Sorry about that. There we go. All right.
Taylor says a hawk.
It is. So this is Braveheart. I'm gonna move over here and talk. So they want to see you anyways. I don't want to see you anymore. But I can still talk. So this is Braveheart. He is a hawk, right? Does anybody know what kind of hawk he is?
Lots of guesses of a red-tailed hawk.
Nice. How did you know that? Can we show him his beautiful red tail? Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. Reddish. Reddish-tailed hawk doesn't sound as good as red-tailed hawk, right? So he is definitely an amazing hunter. Can you guys look at him and see what kind of adaptations he has for hunting, be able to find his food, and also avoid being detected by his food? What do you guys think?
Well, Karen already says talons.
Talons, absolutely. Those are his killing tools. And I'll show you, you can maybe, oh, let me He likes eating tongs too. So let's bring them up, just bring up just a little bit so they can see. A little bit more? Yeah, the talons. Look at those. And if you'll notice, Miss April is wearing a very thick glove to protect her hand, because those are his killing tools. And he uses those to catch and kill his food.
And his beak.
And his beak, right. Look at that beak. It's hooked, right? Kind of hooked at the end. So that is his, I like to call it his fork and his knife. So if he catches, let's say he catches a squirrel, he can't eat it in one gulp. So he might stand on it with those talons and then use that hooked beak to kind of tear into it and cut it up.
So Zahara has a question. Well, three. Does he get away? How did you get him? Is it a she or a he?
Mr. Braveheart is a he. And he came to us, when did he come to us, April? Was it 2013?
I'm not sure the year.
So we have a hospital here at the zoo where people have find an injured wild animal, they can bring them in and fix them up and back in the wild. So Braveheart came into that hospital and he had a wing injury. It is this one right here. Yep. You'll notice it kind of droops a little bit, so it sits a little lower than the other one. And so his wing injury had gotten broken and then it kind of it actually fused and they weren't able to fix it. And so he wasn't able to be released back in the wild. So he can fly short distances, but can't fly the lengths that he needs to survive in the wild. And so that's how we got him. What was that? I forgot the other question. He's a boy.
There we go.
He's from rehab center.
It left.
Fly away.
Yeah, does he get away?
Oh, yeah. Well, you notice what when you got to look at his feet.
Yeah.
He's got all this gear on him. So he wears these right here, his anklets, and then these guys, April and Natalie behind us right here. They work with him and train him so that he will step up on a glove, and then we can put all this other gear on, these things right here and all these, so he can be on our glove and not get away. Because we don't want him to hurt himself. Because he could, like I said, because he can't fly good. And we love him. We don't want him to get away there too. He's pretty awesome. He's used to people, and so he wouldn't be able to really survive in the wild. So this way, this keeps him safe too. Us safe and him safe, because we don't want him using those talons, and April would not want him up on her shoulder. So that would not be good. So that's how he keeps him safe. Good question. Nice. Do you have any other questions? So yeah, some really cool adaptations. Those feet, those talons, that beak for tearing. Another adaptation, be able to find his food. Look at his eyes. They're big. They're huge, right? So he's got really, really big eyes.
He's very interested in
And
the flowers
he's-
on the table.
Oh, I love that they always look
Oh,
at
yeah.
this. So we have a microphone above that. A lot of the animals look at and they're like, wow, what is that? Is this something I can eat? So amazing eyesight. So to be a bird of prey, like hawks and the owls, they have to have a hooked beak, talons, and really, really, really good eyesight. So he can spot a mouse from about 10 stories high. So he can be sitting up way on the top of the tree and looking around, looking for mice. And that's probably what happened to Mr. Braveheart, why he came into a rehab center. He was probably hunting on the side of a road because people unfortunately throw out their trash or apples or banana peels, all that stuff. They threw it out the car window and that ends up on the side of the road. And then mice, small animals come and eat that trash. And these guys have learned to hunt by the side of the road. That's where all the mice and the small animals are. And so he was probably hunting up in a tree and swooped down to get a mouse and possibly got hit by a car. Happens to a lot of birds of prey. You get a lot of them into the rehab center because they get hit by cars. So unfortunately, they're amazing predators, but not against us. Yeah, still not.
A lot of wows.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, moral of the story: keep your trash in your car, guys. We'll save an owl or a hawk's life. It's pretty cool. Easy, simple thing you can do. Any questions about Braveheart? Or Miss April?
April said, what?
No, we're good. All right.
If you guys enjoyed his cute little chirps while he was.
I love his little call. It's kind of what a baby or a young bird makes to beg for food. So, and I think that he came in to the rehab center, he was kind of young, and so he was still kind of possibly still being fed from his parents, and so he made those noises, and we just kind of reinforced it. They're just cute. This is my guess, anyway. My theory could be wrong. All right. Hope you don't have any questions. Thank you, Mr. Braveheart. You rock.
Bye,
You did really
Braveheart.
good. Yay.
That was awesome, buddy.
Yeah. Woo-hoo. Yay.
Oh, I do have a real quick
And what's
question.
his on the menu today? What is he getting?
Oh, yeah.
Today? What's his menu? Oh, cut up mouse. Oh, right. You gonna eat lunch with?
Did we answer how old is Braveheart?
He's 13 or 14, which means he could not have gotten here in 2013. That's when the 13 was coming from. My brain and numbers. My old brain. So yeah, he's about 13 years old. So which means he came to the zoo in 2007-ish. I think of the math. I know. I'm like, wait a minute. After I said it, I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
I want you to know everyone is saying they are more than willing to help by throwing their trash away in appropriate places. And Madeline even recycles her trash to craft.
Oh.
I wonder, maybe Madeline's using it. Maybe she's using it for some enrichment opportunities.
Nice. Absolutely. Yeah. You guys don't have to stick around. You guys don't have to. What's that? No, because I saw one more.
We've not done.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, Natalie. Yeah, thank you. And Braveheart, of course. Everyone's trying to get them out.
Everyone
Yeah,
saying
sure.
thank you guys.
Thanks,
We're
guys.
gonna-
Thanks for visiting. Thank you, Randy. He's so awesome. He's the cutest thing ever. We all love him. We enjoy him very much. Now I'm all steady. Wear a mask. All right. So we got the roles. We got prey, the herbivores, for their job of being food. Then we have our predators, the carnivores. Their job is to kind of keep those animal populations in check, make sure everything's healthy, right? So they're cleaning up the healthy population. We're missing one last role.
Oh.
Kind of, yes.
Real quick, what do owls eat? Carla is asking.
Well, pretty much the same thing Braveheart would eat. So they would eat just about anything small that they can catch and carry off. So lots of rats, mice, small birds, snakes, frogs, things like that. Other small owls, if it's a big owl like this guy. Right? So lots of things. They're not terribly big. Charles has kicked.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so Karen is wondering if the other group that you're speaking of are the decomposers.
That's a good one. Those are the Herbivores or Decomposers, right? Some of them would, like the cockroaches, kind of fell in the herbivore realm because they eat plants, whereas this decomposer or scavenger, they're eating dead what?
Mm.
They eating dead plants, or they eating dead meat or animals?
While you guys are answering that, that says Braveheart is actually 15.
I always forget to add years. So 15, thank you, Beth. So he is,
There you go.
Who eats dead animals.
there we go. So he would fall in carnivore role. So he's a scavenger. So he is kind of excuse me, he is cleaning up the world. So he is definitely but he's still carnivore.
Because that's concerning.
What's that? What's
Is she-
concerning?
Dead animals.
Well, just think about it, guys. Everything lives forever. That's when things die, right? Could you imagine nothing out there cleaning up the dead animals and heat too? Look at that. We don't have animals. That's their role, is to clean and keep the world healthy. Very important, especially these guys. Their stomach acid is so strong. They can eat anthrax, botulism, all kinds of different diseases that are spread from dead animals. So they're cleaning up the world. Actually, a super important job. With that. So that is an important role. So the cockroaches, vultures, your worms, your dung beetles, but all those animals, and they're cleaning up the stuff that none of us want to eat, right? Probably making the planet a lot healthier and safer. So pretty good job, pretty good important role they have. So our last one. Right? Awesome, right? What do they eat? Do they eat meat, or do they eat plants, or do they eat both? Both, right. What's that fancy science word? You eat both plants and meat.
Omnivore.
Right,
There we go.
omnivores. Nice. Omnivores. Nice job. So omnivores. So their job is pretty much, so they are eating plants and animals, and a lot of times they're hunters, the predators, they're eating other animals sometimes, and then sometimes they are prey farmers. So they're both too. So they're predators and they're prey. So they're a mix of both too. So they have lots of different modes, so they kind of fit in everywhere in that food web. But my favorite thing is just think about this, if you're not very picky about what you eat, like the possum here, are your chances of finding food better or worse? Right. If you're willing to eat anything, dead things, cat food, berries, anything, right, they're not picky. So if all of a sudden there's a shortage of berries, well, like, I'll just eat this dead raccoon over here. I'm good with that. So they're not picky. So it means their chance of survival is pretty good. So which is pretty cool. And I love the opossums because they are possums. Young one.
Aww. So good, their little tail.
I was going to people do this. They're so misunderstood. People don't like them, but I think they're awesome. They have lots of teeth. Yeah. You see all those teeth? They have the most teeth of any mammal. North America or no? I'm not even sure about that. So yeah, they have about 50 teeth in their mouth. So we only have about 32. So lots of teeth. And some for eating meat, some for grinding plants. So different kinds of teeth. You can see that.
So Madeline wants to know, how do dead things not make animals sick when they eat it?
Oh, that is a good question. Whereas the vulture is stomach acid. So the stuff that we have in our bellies that helps us break down our food, we have stomach acid in there. We ever gotten heartburn? So back up a little bit. So that's the stomach acid. Theirs is so strong. It's almost as strong as battery acid. And so it kills any bacteria, anything that's on that meat. It doesn't make it sick. And these guys too, they're pretty strong stomach acid, much stronger than ours. And so doesn't make them sick at all. Pretty good. Which is a useful adaptation, right? My favorite thing that they eat, why opossums are opossums, opossums are awesome, is they eat ticks. So they eat about 4,000 ticks a year. Yay! Opossums. Yes.
All right. Wow, that's cool. Okay.
So another omnivore we have, our last friend.
How used to have possums eat their bird food?
Oh yeah. Like I said, they're not picky. They will eat just about anything. They're opportunistic feeders, we call them. They'll eat just about anything. Another omnivore coming to you.
Perfect.
So this is Franklin, and he's our state reptile. Does anybody know what our state reptile is?
Hi, Franklin. Down a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's a good job.
You know what kind of?
Yeah.
Box turtle.
Nice. He is a box turtle, eastern box turtle, right? And he is an omnivore. So he likes to eat salad. So we feed him salad, every few days, and then the days in between, you get some bugs. You might get some earthworms, you get some crickets, something like that. So he's an omnivore. He eats a little bit of everything. When they're young, they're more carnivores. They like to eat more meat, and as they get older, they start putting more salads. Kind of like us.
Yeah.
Because they get older, we start eating more salads. Because when the metabolism slows down and then the weight goes up, so gotta eat more salads. So it's kind of what they do. So yeah, so this is Franklin, our eastern box turtle. And why do you guys think he's called a box turtle? Anybody know? So my hands are. Right. So, hang on, buddy. There we go. Yeah, very short claws.
Close up like pop.
Nice.
Use your shell.
Absolutely. Which is a pretty good way of avoiding being eaten, right? So you can close up like a box, like that. So Franklin's not scared of us. So he's not scared of us at all. But if you found a box turtle in the wild, this is what you would see. Close up tight, you wouldn't see the head, you wouldn't see the legs, you wouldn't see the tail or anything. Close up like a tight box because they have this really cool hinge right here that allows them to close up nice and tight so nothing can get in there. It's a pretty good way of protecting yourself, avoid being on somebody else's menu, right?
They have a really light skin color on.
Yeah. We did a box turtle study here at the zoo just to kind of see how many were, what the population was of box turtles on our grounds, and just to make sure we weren't affecting them too much. Their population is ready to go, and it was
always
really
stretching.
cool. All the ones we got to see, and there's so many different colors. So he is a male, and the male's going to be much brighter colored, and he also has beautiful red eyes. Yeah. And so I've seen them bright orange, bright yellow, a mix of both, all the same kind of brown. The girls tend to be a lot duller colored, not quite as brightly colored, and their eyes tend to be more orange or brown. But that's not the eye color is not 100% way. What I look for to tell if it's a boy or girl, in the back of that shell, the bottom of their shell, there's this little indent right here. So on a male, there's an indent like that. So this was a male. If it was a female, it'd be perfectly flat and smooth. You wouldn't see that indent right there. You gonna see that? All right, good. And he has it. I'm not gonna tip him over so you can see it. Probably won't like that. But he has that indent. I can feel it. So I know this is a boy. So yeah, so he is a land turtle. So if you find a box turtle, please don't throw it into a pond. They are not built for swimming. If you look at those feet, he is a climber and a digger, right? So his claws are built for climbing and digging and walking. So he doesn't have web feet for swimming. So, and he would probably sink and have a hard time getting out. So please don't throw him down. Just leave him on the road. But if you do see one in the road, after it rains a lot, you guys ever seen one kind of crossing the road? Now I see them after a while, after a good rain, I see them in the middle of the road. And this is really good at protecting them, but not in cars, right? This is not survival cars. So if you see one in the road, and he's facing this way, and if he's safe enough, and you can get out of your stop, get out of the car, and let's do this on a 4-lane highway. So if it's safe enough, move him. Which direction do you move? You move him in the direction he's facing, and you want to turn around and put him back the other way. There you guys go. Direction he's facing, or the other side, or behind him. In front of him or behind him. There you go. Move where he is facing. Nice job. Absolutely. There's something over there that he wants to get to. And it could be food, it could be his home, or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is. There's something over there he wants. And so if you put him back over in that way, he's just going to turn around the back over. So put him in the direction he's facing, side of the road direction. So that way you can get to his home, or whatever it is he's looking for. Any questions about our box turtle? Not seeing any. Well, how does he eat? Notice, doesn't he have teeth? Show this adaptation pretty cool. Hold. All right, hold. Good job, Franklin. That's right.
Way to
Teeth,
go, buddy.
right. He doesn't have teeth, so he's got a sharp kind of edge beak. To help him to kind of grab and chew up his food. Right. And so he's not, that's why, he's not a huge hunter unless it's small things and they don't move too fast because he doesn't move too fast, right? Kind of on the slow side. Any questions about Franklin? Or about
I don't have
Franklin?
any.
All right, I'm up for mine.
Bye, Franklin.
Okay, Taylor, go my hand. Yes.
Pretty good grip with those little
Those
claws. Yeah.
too. Especially on gloves. Good, sweaty gloves. All right. So lots of different roles. So some animals are food, some animals are looking for food, and some animals are both, right? So they're doing both. So lots of different roles, and all very important. They all kind of need each other in that food web I talked about earlier. And so if you take something out, you can have it do that. And so that actually happened to this guy. And humans, what do you think our role? What is your role in that food web? What do you think our role is? Franklin. Sorry.
And of course, he said, you gotta love a balance in nature.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. We need it. We need it. And so when us as people, sometimes we throw that balance off, unfortunately. We don't think about it. We don't always, and that's why I'm here. Educate us. And you guys are learning about this balance and how to need it. And so
Sarah would say that we are a type of predator.
we are, but I don't know about you.
Wendy said she's
I
a
don't like to go
shopper.
in the ocean sometimes because then I become afraid of it pretty quickly.
Yes.
Right, all this, I watch Jaws when I was 18.
Same.
So yeah, so we're not really. You think we gotta have a big brain and we can protect ourselves, but Danya, there are some animals out there that can easily take us out if you don't know what you're doing. So right, so we're not really in it. So,
But when he says she's a shopper in the food web.
she's a shopper.
Mhm.
That's right. That's right. It's a good role for you, Wendy. A shopper and a bedazzler. They're roles. Alright, so sometimes when we're not aware of how everything's interconnected, we kind of throw things off balance. And that's what happened to this guy. Anybody know what this animal is? We have these beautiful animals here at the zoo. Coyote or wolf? Very close. So it is a wolf.
Madeline says red wolf.
Nice, Madeline. Good job. That is a red wolf. Beautiful. Does anybody know about the red wolf? Give me some facts. Madeline, since you knew what it was, do you know anything about it? What do you think? Let's talk about how we have impacted that balance, especially when it pertains to the red wolf. They're critically endangered. There are only about roughly 25, every time I hear it gets lower, left in the wild. 25 in the wild. There are more in human care. So at our zoo, we had pups born, we're up to 20, 25, I don't remember. Maybe my team of smart people
Yeah.
let us know. Because we had some pups born this spring, so our population has gone up. So there are about over 200 in human care. That's still not a lot. That's less than 300 million in the whole entire world. Think about that. So they're critically endangered. And it's because they're what we call that apex predator. So they're kind of at the top of that food chain. And their job is keeping all the lots of small animals, deer, all those populations in check. But for some reason, they're dead. I thought they were scary. They thought they were going to eat their cattle, their livestock, like that. And so they started hunting them. And they became hunted, unfortunately. Hunted so much that they were down to, I want to say, 17 months. And then humans came in, so biologists said they were studying them, went out and actually collected all the red wolves, brought them into human care, and started breeding them, get their populations up. And never actually got them. Northwest. So red wolves are only found here on the East Coast. They used to be all up and down the East Coast. Only wolf, born and bred in America, guys. American red wolf. And so their population started bringing back, started breeding them, the numbers started going up, and they released them in state. Let me know what state they were releasing. Might be standing on it. So the only place you can find a wild red wolf is here in North Carolina. Only that place you can find it. So they reintroduce them into North Carolina over at the coast, Alligator River National Wildlife. And so they were doing really well. And they started coming back, they were bringing their numbers up, and then coyotes and lots of other things started happening, and numbers are going back down. So there's a lot going on with them. But unfortunately, because we were hunting them so much, that's how we impact them. But we're trying to fix it. So that's kind of our role now. Is to kind of fix what we do. You know, our role is to kind of bring them back. Oops. And hopefully a lot of our engagement, that's kind of, I feel like that's our role now. Because we have had a huge impact on that balance. And so now we're trying to fix it and put it back into balance. So that's kind of our role, how I see it. So you guys agree? What do you guys think? You think that's a good role to have? To kind of help bring animals back? You guys like, yeah, yes, all right. All right. And just learning about it and realizing we're all interconnected. We kind of all need each other, right? In this whole big world, this planet that we share. So it's good to have that role. All right, do you have any other questions? Pick up my paper that I flew away.
I don't see any.
No questions? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate you guys coming out and spending the afternoon with us. And we'll hopefully we'll see you next Thursday. What am I doing next Thursday? Animal heroes. So we're gonna learn about how animals can be heroes. All right, guys. We'll see you hopefully next week. Bye.